Beneath the listening skin of the Adriatic Sea, where ancient tides murmur secrets to the stones of sunken ruins, there once drifted the dream of a man who dared to court the hidden world below. Leonardo da Vinci, child of the Renaissance and scribe of the impossible, sketched not only wings for men and engines of battle, but a vessel to glide through Neptune's realm. This vessel, a submarine of ink and wonder, was never wrought in wood or iron. Yet it lives on, not in steel, but in the breathless silence between his pages, as if the idea itself had slipped from reality into myth, swallowed by the same deep that it was meant to conquer. In Florence's golden light, as domes rose and marbles sang, Leonardo turned his gaze not only to the heavens, but to the abyss. In the hush of his notebooks, he imagined a craft that could dive beneath warships and strike unseen. He understood that power hidden was power multiplied, and in his thoughts swam a phantom machine, long, sealed, driven by hand and fin, with breath drawn from the alchemy of air. But unlike his flying machines and anatomical revelations, this idea was not pursued with open hand. He withheld it, cloaked it, and when asked why, whispered that man was not ready. The submarine, he feared, would be a creature of murder cloaked in invention. What might have become of the world had he loosed this leviathan upon the seas? In the canals of Venice or the estuaries of the Arno, might silent craft have slipped through starlit waters, upending the balance of naval might? Or might the very soul of warfare have turned more sinister, the ocean no longer a place of open contest, but of lurking dread? The submarine Leonardo never built became a ghost in the annals of invention, its absence more powerful than its presence. His vision, however, was not without lineage. The ancient Greeks and Romans had toyed with submersion, crafting bells and diving contraptions for sponge harvest and exploration. Yet it was Leonardo who first merged the artist's eye with the strategist's mind, envisioning not only descent but mobility, attack, escape. He designed a sealed hull, breathing tubes, and ballast systems, centuries before such things were born. In his mind's theater, he played out underwater wars that would not come to pass until the 20th century. And yet, the design was left buried in his notebooks, as though the waters of time had closed above it. The notion of a submerged vessel, so revolutionary, so potent, remained in the womb of possibility. Leonardo, whose heart beat with both the music of celestial spheres and the thunder of future engines, chose silence over revelation. In this, perhaps, he sensed a truth too often missed, that some ideas, like sleeping dragons, are best left unawakened until the world is ready to meet them with wisdom, not merely hunger. So the submarine that Leonardo never built lies suspended in a kind of dream time, half real, half imagined. It is a testament to restraint, to the alchemy of ethics within the furnace of genius. As his other creations flew in sketches and dissected corpses told the secrets of life, the vessel of the deep remained unbirthed, a riddle sunk in the quietest vaults of history. But the sea remembers. Each wave that breaks upon the Ligurian shore may yet whisper his name. Not for the engines he made, but for the one he chose not to. In the annals of human ingenuity, few names resonate with the same polymathic brilliance as Leonardo da Vinci. His mind, a crucible of art, science, and engineering, dared to conceive of flying machines, robotic knights, and even urban planning centuries ahead of their time. Yet, among his myriad futuristic visions, one stands out for its chilling prescience and the profound ethical dilemma it posed: the submarine. Imagine, if you will, the late 15th century, a world still bound by the laws of land and surface sea, where the mysteries of the deep remained largely untouched by human curiosity. It was in this era that Leonardo, sketching tirelessly in his notebooks, began to envision a vessel that could navigate beneath the waves, a silent hunter of the ocean's depths. This was not a mere fanciful doodle, but a meticulously detailed design, born from his acute understanding of hydrodynamics and mechanics. His sketches, though fragmented and sometimes cryptic, reveal an intricate system of ballast tanks, propulsion mechanisms, and even rudimentary periscopes, all conceived without the benefit of modern materials or advanced scientific instruments. Leonardo's submarine was, in essence, a large, sealed boat, designed to be submerged by taking on water into internal compartments, and then resurfaced by expelling that water. The concept of buoyancy, though not yet fully articulated by Archimedes in the way we understand it today, was intuitively grasped by Leonardo. He considered the use of internal bladders or flexible bags that could be filled or emptied with water, perhaps using hand-crank pumps, to control the vessel's depth. For propulsion, he likely envisioned oars or hand-crank screws, a method far removed from the powerful engines of later centuries, yet remarkably innovative for his time. The challenge of air supply for the occupants was also a concern, as evidenced by his studies of human respiration and his experiments with diving bells. He pondered methods to replenish the air inside the sealed craft, perhaps through rudimentary airlocks or by bringing compressed air in containers, though the technological limitations of the era would have made this incredibly difficult. His notebooks also hint at ideas for communication with the surface, possibly through signaling devices or even a form of early sonar, using sound waves to detect objects. What truly sets Leonardo's submarine apart, however, is not just the audacity of its engineering, but the moral quandary it presented to its creator. As he delved deeper into the technical intricacies of his underwater craft, a profound disquiet began to settle in his brilliant mind. He foresaw the immense destructive potential of such a device. A silent predator, capable of approaching enemy ships undetected and unleashing devastating attacks from beneath the waves, could fundamentally alter the nature of naval warfare. The thought of this invention falling into the wrong hands, of being used to inflict widespread chaos and death, weighed heavily upon him. Leonardo, a man who believed in the pursuit of knowledge for the betterment of humanity, found himself at a crossroads. Could he unleash such a powerful, potentially catastrophic, tool upon a world he often viewed as prone to conflict and abuse of power? His internal struggle is vividly reflected in a poignant note found within his manuscripts. He wrote, regarding his design for an underwater vessel, "This I do not publish or divulge on account of the evil nature of men, who would use them for assassination at the bottom of the seas, and for opening holes in ships and sinking them, together with the men in them." This single sentence reveals the depth of his ethical consideration. It was not a lack of scientific prowess that prevented the realization of his submarine, but a conscious, deliberate act of self-censorship, driven by a profound sense of responsibility for the potential misuse of his genius. He chose to prioritize the well-being of humanity over the glory of invention. In a world where the lines between scientific advancement and destructive application often blur, Leonardo's decision serves as a powerful testament to the moral compass that guided his innovations. He recognized that knowledge, once unleashed, could not be easily contained, and that some discoveries carried a burden too great to bear. The deliberate act of self-destruction of his submarine designs, or at least their concealment and refusal to fully disseminate them, stands as a unique moment in the history of invention. It underscores a rarely acknowledged aspect of true genius, the foresight to understand not only what is possible, but also what should not be. Leonardo, in his solitary meditations, must have grappled with the idea of a weapon that could strike without warning, turning the vast, protective ocean into a theater of unseen destruction. He envisioned the terror and helplessness of sailors whose vessels would suddenly be breached from below, with no enemy in sight. This vision, far from being abstract, was rooted in his keen observation of human nature and the destructive capacities he witnessed in the warfare of his time. The cannons and siege engines he designed for patrons like Cesare Borgia were already instruments of considerable power, but they operated within known parameters of conflict. The submarine, however, represented a leap into a new, more insidious form of engagement. Leonardo's decision to bury his submarine design speaks to a timeless dilemma that continues to plague scientific and technological advancement even today. The very tools that promise progress and prosperity can, in the wrong hands, become instruments of immense suffering. From the splitting of the atom to the development of artificial intelligence, humanity continually confronts the ethical implications of its own creations. Leonardo, centuries ago, stood at this precipice and made a choice that resonates deeply in the modern era. He understood that true innovation is not merely about what can be built, but about the impact it will have on the delicate tapestry of human civilization. His act of intellectual renunciation was not a failure of nerve, but a triumph of conscience, a quiet rebellion against the potential for his brilliance to be weaponized against the very people he sought to understand and enlighten through his art and science. The legacy of Leonardo's submarine is thus not found in a working prototype or a widespread adoption of his design, but in the powerful moral lesson it imparts. It serves as a haunting whisper from the past, reminding us that even the greatest minds must confront the shadows cast by their own ingenuity. His visionary concept, though unrealized in his lifetime, due to both technological limitations and his own ethical qualms, paved the way for future generations of inventors who would eventually bring the submarine to fruition. Yet, as these vessels ply the depths of our oceans, silently and powerfully, Leonardo's unvoiced concerns echo across the centuries. Did humanity heed his unspoken warning? Have we truly learned to wield our technological prowess with the wisdom and restraint that Leonardo himself demonstrated? The story of his submarine is a testament to the enduring struggle between progress and responsibility, a timeless narrative that continues to unfold with every new discovery and invention. As we move forward, perhaps we can draw inspiration from his profound ethical stance, ensuring that our innovations serve to uplift and preserve, rather than to destroy, the intricate and precious fabric of human existence. While Leonardo's submarine design shimmered with the brilliance of the future, its very conception was deeply rooted in the fertile intellectual soil of his own era, a time when the classical past was being rediscovered with fervent zeal. The Renaissance, a period of profound rebirth, was not just about new discoveries, but also about reclaiming the lost knowledge of ancient Greece and Rome. Scholars meticulously unearthed forgotten texts, revealing a world of philosophy, mathematics, and engineering that had been largely obscured for a millennium. It was within this intellectual current that Leonardo, ever the sponge of knowledge, absorbed fragmented hints and theories about humanity's age-old fascination with the aquatic realm, blending them with his own unparalleled empirical observation. He would have been keenly aware of the legends, both real and apocryphal, of divers using rudimentary equipment, perhaps even diving bells, in ancient times. The very idea of prolonged submersion, of breathing beneath the surface, was a subject of mythical lore and practical, albeit dangerous, experimentation for centuries before him. The waters of Florence, though not the vast, deep oceans, were nevertheless a vital part of Leonardo's formative environment and a constant source of inspiration. The Arno River, winding through the heart of the city, was a dynamic laboratory for his studies in hydrodynamics. He observed its currents, its eddies, the way water flowed around obstacles, the principles of erosion, and the forces of displacement. These observations were meticulously recorded, filling pages of his notebooks with diagrams of water wheels, canal locks, and various hydraulic machines. His fascination extended to the very nature of fluids, their pressure, density, and how they interact with solid objects. This foundational understanding, gleaned from countless hours by the riverbanks and through practical experiments with small models, was absolutely crucial to his later conceptualization of a vessel that could precisely control its depth and movement within a liquid medium. The seemingly mundane flow of a river provided the fundamental lessons that would, in his mind, unlock the secrets of underwater navigation. Beyond the physics of water, Leonardo's genius was profoundly influenced by the practical challenges and military needs of his era. The Italian city-states of the Renaissance were constantly engaged in intricate political chess games, often escalating into open warfare. Florence, Venice, Milan, and others were perpetually striving for technological advantage, especially in siege warfare and naval power. Leonardo himself served various patrons, including the Duke of Milan, Ludovico Sforza, and later Cesare Borgia, as a military engineer. His duties often involved designing fortifications, improved artillery, and novel weapons. It was in this environment of strategic innovation and necessity that the idea of a submerged vessel, capable of stealthily approaching enemy ships or breaching harbor defenses, would have found fertile ground in his imaginative mind. A submarine, in its purest military form, offered an unprecedented element of surprise and an almost surgical precision in attack, capabilities that were revolutionary in an age dominated by direct, observable confrontation. Yet, even as the military applications of his submarine concept sharpened in his mind, Leonardo remained deeply engaged with the broader scientific and anatomical mysteries of his world. His studies of the human body, for instance, were not merely for artistic representation, but for understanding its intricate mechanics and physiological limits. He dissected cadavers, sketching bones, muscles, and organs with an astonishing level of detail. This anatomical knowledge would have been invaluable in considering the challenges of human survival within a sealed, submerged craft. How long could a man hold his breath? What were the effects of pressure? How could air be replenished without resurfacing? These were not abstract questions, but vital practical considerations for anyone designing a truly functional underwater vehicle manned by humans. His experiments with simple diving suits and breathing apparatuses, rudimentary as they were, reveal a mind grappling with the very physiological constraints that would later define the limits of early submarine dives. Thus, Leonardo's submarine was not born in a vacuum, but emerged from a convergence of ancient wisdom, contemporary scientific observation, and the pressing military demands of his turbulent age. It was a testament to his unique ability to synthesize disparate fields of knowledge into a cohesive, visionary whole. The quiet flow of the Arno, the dusty pages of classical texts, and the strategic machinations of princes all contributed to the intricate design that filled his notebooks. His genius lay in connecting these threads, in seeing how the principles governing a river's current could apply to a vessel lurking beneath the waves, or how the limits of the human lung would dictate the duration of an underwater mission. It was a holistic approach to invention, where every piece of knowledge, no matter how seemingly unrelated, played a part in the grand tapestry of his innovative thought. This profound interconnectedness of his studies allowed him to leap across centuries, envisioning technologies that would profoundly reshape human interaction with the natural world. And yet, despite the fertile ground of his intellect and the pressing needs of his time, the submarine remained a theoretical marvel, a secret guarded within his private folios. The reasons for this, as we explored in the preceding chapter, lay not in a failure of ingenuity, but in a deeper, more troubling apprehension about the very nature of humanity. The practical limitations of materials and power sources in the 15th century were undeniable, making a truly operational submarine a monumental challenge. But it was Leonardo's foresight into the potential for misuse, the darker echoes of human conflict, that ultimately compelled him to hold back. He saw the shadowed path this particular innovation might forge, a path that led to an unseen, insidious form of warfare that could corrupt the very waters he so diligently studied. This internal conflict, between the thrill of invention and the burden of its consequences, would remain a central theme of his most radical designs. As we reflect on this pivotal moment, we are reminded that true genius often carries the heaviest of responsibilities. Leonardo, standing at the dawn of modern science, was forced to confront questions that still challenge us today. What are the ethical boundaries of invention? And when does the pursuit of knowledge necessitate self-restraint? His decision to suppress the submarine design was a testament to his profound moral compass, a quiet act of defiance against the potential for human depravity. It sets the stage for a deeper understanding of his other unbuilt marvels, each a reflection of a mind that not only saw the future, but also wrestled with its potential darkness. Our journey continues, moving beyond the specific design into the broader philosophical landscape of Leonardo's inventive spirit, a landscape where ethics and innovation forever intertwine. Leonardo's fascination with the submarine was an intensely practical extension of his lifelong obsession with the fundamental elements, water and air. For him, these were not abstract concepts, but living forces, constantly interacting, shaping the world, and holding the keys to countless mechanical possibilities. His notebooks are replete with thousands of sketches and observations dedicated to their behavior, forming a foundational bedrock for all his hydraulic and aerodynamic inventions. He saw the swirling eddies of a stream and imagined the precise mathematics of turbulence. He felt the pressure of the wind against his face and envisioned the lift on a bird's wing. This profound understanding, gleaned from tireless observation and rigorous, though informal, experimentation, allowed him to perceive the underlying principles that governed fluid dynamics long before the formal establishment of physics as a distinct science. His studies of water, in particular, were exhaustive. Leonardo meticulously documented the flow of rivers, the mechanics of currents, the erosion caused by moving water, and the intricate dynamics of waves. He designed sophisticated canal systems and locks, marvels of engineering that aimed to control and redirect this powerful element for irrigation and transportation. He understood that water had weight, exerted pressure, and that objects either floated or sank based on their displacement. This comprehension was critical to his submarine design. The very idea of ballast tanks, allowing a vessel to take on water to submerge and expel it to surface, relied entirely on these principles. He understood that to control a craft beneath the surface, one needed to master the delicate dance between the vessel's own weight and the buoyant force exerted by the displaced water. His theoretical work, often expressed through intricate diagrams and accompanying mirror-script notes, laid the groundwork for managing buoyancy control in a way that was revolutionary for his era. Parallel to his aquatic explorations was his deep inquiry into air and its properties. While his flying machines are perhaps more famous, his understanding of air pressure, its compressibility, and its vital role in respiration were equally profound and directly relevant to the submarine. For a submerged vessel, the immediate challenge was not just propulsion, but sustaining human life within a sealed environment. Leonardo's anatomical studies provided crucial insights into the human respiratory system, allowing him to contemplate the limited time a person could survive on a fixed volume of air. He considered rudimentary solutions, such as external tubes to the surface for shallow dives or containers of compressed air, recognizing the fundamental need for oxygen replenishment. These were not fully developed life support systems as we know them, but they represented an astonishing leap in identifying the core physiological challenges of undersea travel. His mind connected the macrocosm of atmospheric pressure to the microcosm of a human lung, understanding the delicate balance required for survival. The brilliance of Leonardo's submarine was therefore not a singular flash of inspiration, but the culmination of these meticulous, interconnected studies of natural phenomena. He didn't just draw a fanciful boat that went underwater. He sought to engineer a system that accounted for the very real, measurable forces of nature. The proposed mechanisms for propulsion, whether hand-cranked oars or screws, were designed to move the vessel efficiently through a viscous medium, directly applying his observations of aquatic creatures and the principles of leverage and force. Even the concept of a periscope, allowing observation without surfacing, drew upon his understanding of light refraction and optics, another area of his broad scientific inquiry. Every component, every theoretical solution, was grounded in a holistic understanding of the natural world, a testament to his empirical approach to knowledge. This deep engagement with the elements also informed his perspective on the vulnerability of human life within these powerful forces. He saw the destructive power of floods and storms, the crushing force of deep water, and the suffocating absence of air. His inventions, while often designed to harness these forces, also revealed a profound respect for their inherent danger. The submarine, by its very nature, placed humanity directly into an alien and hostile environment. This awareness likely contributed to his ethical hesitations. He understood the immense risks involved for those who would crew such a vessel, recognizing the fragility of human existence when pitted against the overwhelming power of nature, even when seemingly contained by ingenious machinery. The very elements he sought to master for human benefit also represented the ultimate arbiters of success or catastrophic failure for his underwater craft. Thus, Leonardo's submarine stands as a compelling symbol of his unique scientific method, a relentless pursuit of understanding the fundamental laws of nature, followed by an imaginative leap to apply those laws in novel, often unprecedented, ways. His work on water and air was not confined to theoretical treatises. It was an active, sensory engagement with the world around him, informing every brushstroke, every engineering drawing, every philosophical reflection. The seemingly simple act of watching a leaf float on a pond or feeling a breeze on his face could spark a cascade of interconnected ideas, culminating in designs that defied the technological limitations of his age. This holistic worldview, where every detail of the natural world held a clue to a larger truth, was the bedrock of his transformative genius. As we depart from the intricate interplay of water and air in Leonardo's mind, we recognize that his ethical dilemma was not an isolated incident, but an inherent part of his comprehensive worldview. He grappled not just with how to build, but with why and for what purpose. The very forces he meticulously studied and sought to control, the currents of water, the breath of air, were also the potential instruments of destruction if wielded unwisely. His vision of the submarine, therefore, carries a double weight. It is a testament to the astonishing reach of human intellect, but also a poignant reminder of the moral responsibility that accompanies such power. Our journey now shifts to explore the broader context of his life, the intellectual currents of the Renaissance, and how they both fostered and perhaps constrained his most radical inventions. Leonardo da Vinci did not exist in a vacuum. His genius blossomed within the vibrant, often tumultuous, crucible of the Italian Renaissance. This was a period of extraordinary intellectual ferment, artistic revival, and intense political upheaval, where patrons were as critical to innovation as the inventors themselves. Cities like Florence, Milan, and Venice were not just centers of commerce, but also hotbeds of humanistic thought, classical rediscovery, and technological competition. It was an age defined by a renewed interest in human potential, a spirit of inquiry that encouraged exploration across disciplines, and a relentless drive for mastery in art, science, and warfare. This fertile environment both nurtured Leonardo's multidisciplinary approach and presented him with the practical demands that often spurred his most ingenious, and sometimes dangerous, designs. The patronage system was the lifeblood of artistic and scientific endeavor during the Renaissance. Powerful families like the Medici in Florence or the Sforza in Milan commissioned works of art, architecture, and even military engineering, viewing such investments as displays of wealth, power, and cultural sophistication. Leonardo, as a skilled craftsman and an unparalleled thinker, found himself oscillating between various patrons, each with their own needs and ambitions. His engagements were rarely singular. He was often tasked with a myriad of projects, from painting portraits and frescoes to designing intricate court pageants, and critically, developing military machines. It was under the employ of Ludovico Sforza, the Duke of Milan, that Leonardo spent some of his most productive years, transforming from a painter into a comprehensive court engineer. This environment, while providing financial stability and access to resources, also placed immense pressure on him to deliver tangible, often martial, innovations. The pervasive state of warfare was an inescapable reality of the Italian city-states. Constant rivalries, shifting alliances, and territorial disputes meant that military advantage was paramount. Rulers were keenly interested in any technology that could tip the scales in their favor, whether it was improved fortifications, more powerful artillery, or novel siege engines. Leonardo, with his unparalleled understanding of mechanics and physics, was a coveted asset in this landscape. His notebooks are filled with designs for multi-barreled guns, armored vehicles, giant crossbows, and even specialized ladders for scaling walls. It was within this context of relentless military innovation that the idea of a submarine, a weapon capable of undetected naval assault, would have been a logical, albeit radical, extension of his military engineering portfolio. The very concept of stealth, an unseen attack from below, represented a terrifying leap in military strategy, perfectly suited to an era of cunning and subterfuge. However, Leonardo's involvement in military designs was often tempered by his deeply rooted humanist spirit and his profound understanding of human suffering. The humanism movement of the Renaissance celebrated human dignity, potential, and achievement, drawing inspiration from classical antiquity. While not explicitly a pacifist, Leonardo often expressed a philosophical discomfort with the destructive applications of his genius. He saw the inherent beauty and intricate mechanics of the human body through his anatomical studies, making the thought of its deliberate destruction particularly poignant. This tension between his professional duty to patrons who demanded weapons and his personal inclination towards understanding and preserving life created an enduring paradox in his work. He was a man who designed instruments of death with the same meticulous care he applied to painting the Mona Lisa, a jarring juxtaposition that spoke to the complex morality of his age. This inherent contradiction likely played a significant role in his decision to suppress the submarine design. Unlike a cannon, which announced its presence with smoke and thunder, the submarine offered an unseen, insidious form of warfare that directly violated his implicit reverence for human life and the natural order. It represented a kind of deception and a potential for widespread, undetectable slaughter that he seemed to find morally repugnant. While other military designs might have been too ambitious for his time, the submarine's secrecy and destructive potential truly troubled him. It forced him to confront the grim reality that his brilliance, if unchecked, could be a tool for unimaginable terror. This internal ethical compass, a silent counterpoint to the demands of his patrons, underscores a deeper wisdom that went beyond mere technical prowess. Thus, the Renaissance, with its dynamic interplay of cultural flourishing, political intrigue, and military innovation, provided both the fertile ground for Leonardo's inventive mind and the profound ethical challenges he faced. He was a product of his time, deeply embedded in its societal structures and its ceaseless drive for power and knowledge. Yet, he transcended it through his unique capacity for reflection and his willingness to grapple with the moral implications of his own creations. The submarine, though an engineering marvel, became a symbol of this deeper conflict, a testament to a genius who understood that humanity's progress must be weighed against its capacity for harm. His refusal to unleash this particular marvel upon the world stands as a poignant commentary on the complex relationship between innovation and responsibility, a lesson that remains acutely relevant in every subsequent age of rapid technological advancement. Leonardo's notebooks, with their hidden marvels like the submarine, remained largely unexamined by the wider scientific community for centuries after his death in 1519. Break time equals 0. 25s/. Yet, the human fascination with the undersea realm persisted, a relentless current of curiosity flowing through the ages, independently of Leonardo's concealed genius. While his specific designs lay dormant, the fundamental problems he grappled with, buoyancy, propulsion, and air supply, continued to challenge other inventive minds across Europe, slowly pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible beneath the waves. The concept of a true submersible was a dream whispered among philosophers and engineers, often dismissed as fantastical, yet slowly inching towards reality through incremental advancements and daring experiments. The 16th and 17th centuries saw isolated, often crude, attempts at underwater exploration and rudimentary submersibles. These early endeavors, unlike Leonardo's meticulously detailed drawings, were typically less theoretical and more driven by immediate, often desperate, practical needs, such as recovering sunken treasure or gaining a fleeting military advantage. One notable figure to emerge from this era was Cornelius Drebbel, a Dutch inventor who, in the early 17th century, is credited with constructing what is often considered the first functional submarine. Commissioned by King James I of England, Drebbel's vessel was essentially a wooden rowing boat, sealed with greased leather to make it watertight. Its propulsion came from oars extending through flexible seals, and its air supply was purportedly refreshed through a chemical process, though the exact method remains debated and shrouded in some mystery. Drebbel's achievement, while primitive by modern standards, was revolutionary. He successfully demonstrated dives in the River Thames, reportedly remaining submerged for several hours, with royal onlookers witnessing these improbable feats. These were shallow dives, certainly, and the craft was clumsy, but it proved the fundamental principle: a human-made vessel could operate underwater. His work, unlike Leonardo's, was public, though details of his exact mechanisms were kept secret, testament to the enduring military and strategic value placed on such novelties. Drebbel's boat, while perhaps lacking the sophisticated theoretical underpinnings of Leonardo's designs, nevertheless marked a pivotal moment, translating the abstract concept of submersion into a tangible, if limited, reality. It demonstrated that the principles of buoyancy, once understood, could be harnessed to achieve truly unprecedented feats. Following Drebbel's pioneering work, the scattered attempts at submersible design continued. Inventors across Europe experimented with various materials and mechanisms. Some explored barrel-shaped vessels, others experimented with more elongated forms. The persistent challenges remained the same: how to achieve reliable vertical control, submerging and surfacing, how to provide adequate propulsion, and most critically, how to sustain a breathable atmosphere for the crew for extended periods. The scientific understanding of gases and atmospheric pressure was still in its infancy, making the problem of ventilation and pressure regulation particularly arduous. Each experiment, whether successful or disastrous, contributed small pieces to the grand puzzle of undersea navigation, gradually building a collective body of knowledge that would one day unlock true submersible capabilities. These early pioneers, like Leonardo, were driven by a potent mix of scientific curiosity and military ambition. The strategic potential of a vessel that could approach an enemy unseen was too tempting for naval powers to ignore. Imagine the terror and confusion a submerged craft could inflict upon a fleet accustomed to fighting on the surface. However, the technological limitations of the era meant that these early submersibles were more curiosities and experimental vehicles than effective weapons of war. Their slowness, limited range, and inherent dangers confined them largely to the realm of theoretical possibility or short, risky demonstrations. The ethical concerns that troubled Leonardo about the nature of unseen warfare began to manifest as these nascent submersibles hinted at their dark potential. The distance between Leonardo's intricate paper designs and Drebbel's rudimentary wooden boat highlights the vast chasm between theoretical brilliance and practical implementation in an era of limited materials and power sources. Leonardo's vision was holistic and mathematically grounded, encompassing systems that were simply too complex for 15th century craftsmanship. Drebbel, by contrast, achieved functionality through simpler, more direct, if less elegant, means. Yet, both contributed to the relentless human quest to conquer the marine depths. The echoes of Leonardo's unbuilt marvel subtly informed the collective subconscious of invention, suggesting a path that others, unknowingly, would eventually follow. Each primitive dive, each whispered theory, was a step towards fulfilling the dream Leonardo had so meticulously laid out centuries before. As the centuries unfolded, the scattered efforts of these early inventors slowly built towards a more coherent understanding of submersible principles. From wooden tubes to leather-sealed boats, the shapes and materials evolved, driven by a growing scientific grasp of pressure, buoyancy, and the properties of materials. The philosophical debates surrounding the use of such a hidden weapon would also intensify, mirroring Leonardo's own earlier struggle. The dream of the submarine, once a solitary thought in a master's notebook, was slowly but inexorably rising to the surface of human technological ambition, bringing with it the inherent dilemmas of power and responsibility. Our journey continues, witnessing the gradual refinement of these concepts and the dawn of a new era, where the submarine moved from theoretical curiosity to a formidable reality. The centuries that followed Leonardo's silent vision and Drebel's early experiments were marked by sporadic but increasingly focused efforts to conquer the undersea realm. The inherent military potential, coupled with burgeoning scientific understanding, propelled inventors forward, slowly transforming the submersible from a fantastical concept into a tangible, albeit perilous, machine. This era, spanning the late 18th and early 19th centuries, saw the emergence of designs that, while still primitive, proved capable of rudimentary military operations, marking a significant leap from mere curiosity to genuine, if limited, strategic assets. The dream of the silent hunter, once confined to Leonardo's cryptic notes, began to take on a more defined form, pushed into reality by the inexorable march of conflict and innovation. One of the most iconic figures from this period was David Bushnell, an American inventor during the Revolutionary War. Driven by the urgent need to break the British naval blockade, Bushnell conceived and built the Turtle in 1775, arguably the first submarine to be used in combat. The Turtle was an egg-shaped, single-person craft, constructed of oak, reinforced with iron bands, and designed to operate vertically in the water. It featured a hand-crank propeller for horizontal movement and a foot-powered propeller for vertical thrust. Its most ingenious, though ultimately unsuccessful, feature was a detachable mine designed to be affixed to the hull of an enemy ship with a screw mechanism. The diver would then escape, and the mine would detonate after a timed fuse. The Turtle's attempt to attack HMS Eagle, the British flagship in New York Harbor in 1776, became a legend. Sergeant Ezra Lee, the courageous operator, managed to reach the Eagle's hull undetected but failed to attach the mine because the ship's copper sheathing proved too thick for the screw. Despite its combat failure, the Turtle proved the viability of a submersible vessel for military purposes, demonstrating the potential for stealth and surprise that Leonardo had foreseen centuries earlier. It showcased practical solutions to buoyancy control using a water ballast tank and a hand pump, and its rudimentary periscope offered a glimpse of future observation capabilities. The Turtle was a testament to American ingenuity under pressure, a crude but bold manifestation of the dream of undersea warfare. Following Bushnell, the brilliant French-American engineer Robert Fulton took up the mantle of submarine innovation. More widely known for his steamboats, Fulton's venture into submarines came at the turn of the 19th century, when he sought to sell his designs to Napoleon Bonaparte. His vessel, named the Nautilus in 1800, predating Jules Verne's fictional submarine, was a significant advancement over the Turtle. Built of copper sheets over iron ribs, it was larger and more refined, featuring a collapsible mast and sail for surface propulsion and a hand-crank propeller for submerged travel. Crucially, the Nautilus incorporated an effective system of horizontal rudders for controlling depth and pitch, as well as a compressed air tank for maintaining breathable air for its crew. Fulton's demonstrations of the Nautilus were remarkably successful for their time. He performed dives in the Seine River and later off the coast of Le Havre, remaining submerged for over an hour and even detonating a small mine against a target ship. Despite these impressive displays, Napoleon ultimately rejected the Nautilus, deeming it a weapon for cowards that would usher in an era of depraved naval warfare. This sentiment echoed Leonardo's own moral reservations, highlighting the enduring ethical quandary posed by a weapon of unseen attack. The reluctance of military leaders to embrace a weapon that defied traditional notions of honorable combat ironically stalled its development, despite its clear tactical advantages. The Turtle and the Nautilus, though separated by a quarter-century and across continents, represent crucial milestones in the journey towards practical submersibles. They moved beyond mere theoretical concepts to tangible, if limited, operating machines. They proved that human ingenuity could indeed navigate the hostile underwater environment, bringing the vision of unseen warfare closer to reality. These early submersibles, born from the crucible of conflict and the relentless pursuit of technological superiority, were still cumbersome and dangerous, pushing the limits of human endurance and the rudimentary materials available. Yet, each successful dive, each near miss, refined the understanding of the principles of undersea travel, slowly paving the way for the more sophisticated designs that would emerge in the coming industrial age. As we reflect on these daring early ventures, we see the enduring legacy of Leonardo's initial vision. Though his plans lay hidden, the fundamental problems he identified and the innovative solutions he theorized continued to be independently rediscovered and incrementally advanced by others. The ethical concerns he voiced also found echoes in the reluctance of military powers to fully embrace these cowardly weapons. The silent threat from beneath the waves, once a nightmare whispered in a single genius's mind, was slowly rising to challenge the conventions of naval power, poised to forever alter the nature of conflict on the high seas. Our journey now continues into the Industrial Revolution, where new power sources and materials would finally unlock the true potential of the submarine, transforming it from a daring experiment into a formidable force. As the 19th century unfurled its vast canvas, the world was irrevocably reshaped by the roaring engines and churning gears of the Industrial Revolution. This monumental era, marked by unprecedented advancements in metallurgy, power generation, and manufacturing, provided the very sinews and breath that the submarine needed to truly emerge from the realm of daring experiment into a viable, formidable reality. The limitations of muscle power and rudimentary materials, which had confined Leonardo's designs to paper and Drebel's and Bushnell's crafts to shallow, precarious dives, began to recede. Iron and steel, coal and oil, steam and electricity. These were the new alchemies that would finally unlock the true potential of the undersea vessel, transforming it into a silent marvel capable of prolonged, independent operation. The initial great hope for propulsion was steam power. The mighty steam engine had revolutionized land and surface sea travel, promising unparalleled speed and endurance. Inventors eagerly attempted to adapt these roaring behemoths for submerged use, facing immediate and formidable challenges. The heat generated by boilers, the vast quantities of air consumed by their furnaces, and the noxious fumes of their exhaust made submerged operation extremely difficult, if not impossible. Early steam-powered submarines typically operated on the surface using steam engines, then switched to a different, less powerful system, often electric or even battery-powered, for brief dives. The very act of taking in air for combustion and expelling smoke compromised the stealth and integrity of the submerged vessel. Yet, these early, cumbersome designs pushed the boundaries of engineering, slowly identifying the unique demands of underwater propulsion. The true game-changer for submerged propulsion emerged from an entirely different realm of scientific discovery: electricity. The development of practical electric motors and reliable storage batteries in the latter half of the 19th century provided the clean, quiet, and efficient power source that the submarine desperately needed. Unlike steam, electricity required no combustion, produced no smoke or excessive heat, and consumed no internal air. This allowed for truly independent and prolonged underwater operation, free from the surface's demands for ventilation. Early electric submarines, though limited by battery capacity and motor efficiency, could now glide silently beneath the waves for hours, their presence completely undetected. This technological leap represented the fulfillment of a critical aspect of Leonardo's vision, the ability to move through the water stealthily and effectively. Hand in hand with advancements in power came revolutionary developments in metallurgy and shipbuilding. The ability to produce high-strength steel plates and to craft them into complex, pressure-resistant hull forms transformed the very structure of the submarine. Wooden hulls, like those of Drebels and Bushnells, could only withstand limited depths. Iron, and then increasingly steel, allowed for stronger, more robust constructions, enabling vessels to dive deeper, withstand greater crushing pressures, and carry more complex machinery. The intricate processes of welding and riveting, perfected in shipyards around the world, allowed engineers to create truly watertight and resilient underwater shells, capable of containing not only the crew but also the new, powerful propulsion systems and emerging weaponry. Beyond propulsion and structure, the Industrial Revolution facilitated the invention and refinement of other crucial submarine components. The periscope, hinted at in Leonardo's own optical studies, evolved into a practical instrument, allowing a submerged vessel to observe the surface without fully exposing itself. Most significantly, the development of the torpedo in the mid-19th century provided the submarine with its ultimate weapon. This self-propelled, underwater projectile, carrying a powerful explosive charge, transformed the submarine from a mere reconnaissance or mine-laying vessel into a genuine ship killer. Combined with improved ballast tank systems for precise depth control and early air purification/regeneration techniques, such as using soda lime to absorb carbon dioxide, the modern submarine began to take discernible shape, a synthesis of multiple technological breakthroughs. Pioneering inventors like Isaac Peral in Spain, with his electric-powered submarine in 1888, and the fierce rivals John Philip Holland and Simon Lake in the United States, pushed the boundaries of design and capability. Holland, an Irish immigrant, is often credited with designing the first submarine successfully commissioned by the U.S. Navy in 1900, the USS Holland. A vessel that perfected the dual propulsion system, gasoline engines for surface, electric motors for submerged, that would become standard for decades. Lake, on the other hand, focused on bottom-crawling submersibles and escape hatches, anticipating different operational needs. These figures, often working independently and with great personal sacrifice, embodied the relentless spirit of invention, each adding a vital piece to the evolving puzzle of undersea technology. As the submarine matured, the ethical concerns that had troubled Leonardo da Vinci resurfaced with renewed urgency. This was no longer a theoretical threat or a clumsy curiosity. It was a silent, powerful, and increasingly lethal weapon. The ability of a submarine to strike unseen, without warning, and vanish into the depths, defied traditional notions of naval engagement and honorable combat. The very nature of its operation, hidden, insidious, confirmed Leonardo's worst fears about humanity's potential for misuse. The moral dilemma, once a private anguish in a Renaissance notebook, now became a public debate, as nations grappled with the implications of this new, terrifying instrument of war. The quiet whispers of the Arno now echoed with the silent menace of steel hulls gliding through the ocean's vast, indifferent expanse. The Industrial Revolution, with its boundless capacity for creation and its parallel potential for destruction, thus forged the submarine into a truly formidable presence. It bridged the gap between a visionary concept and a practical, operational machine. The dream of controlling the depths, once a fantastical notion, was now inextricably linked with the harsh realities of naval power and the grim calculus of modern warfare. The stage was set for the submarine to plunge into the maelstrom of the 20th century's global conflicts, where its true, devastating potential would finally be unleashed upon the world. Our journey now moves to this dramatic new chapter, where Leonardo's foresight would be confirmed in the crucible of global war. The dawn of the 20th century cast long shadows, and as the great powers of the world began to arm themselves with unprecedented industrial might, the submarine, once a mere curiosity or a daring experiment, found its grim purpose. Leonardo da Vinci's unspoken fear that humanity would inevitably turn such a marvel to its most destructive ends was about to be confirmed on the vast, indifferent stage of global conflict. The two world wars, titanic struggles that consumed nations and reshaped the geopolitical landscape, became the ultimate proving ground for the submarine, transforming it from a niche weapon into a strategic force capable of altering the very course of history. The silent hunter, born from a Renaissance mind, now stalked the depths with lethal efficiency, bringing unseen terror to the high seas. World War I marked the true emergence of the submarine as a pivotal weapon. Germany, with its formidable fleet of U-boats, undersea boot, unleashed these stealthy predators upon Allied shipping lanes in the Atlantic. The early U-boats, though still relying on diesel engines for surface propulsion and electric motors for submerged travel, possessed enough range and torpedo capacity to pose an existential threat to maritime commerce. The initial strategy of unrestricted submarine warfare, targeting any vessel entering defined war zones, proved devastatingly effective. Merchant ships, accustomed to visible threats and surface combat, were utterly vulnerable to attacks from below, their crews often perishing without ever seeing their assailant. This unseen, unheralded death from the deep shattered naval conventions and struck a chilling blow to the concept of maritime safety. The psychological impact of U-boat warfare was immense. The very thought of a submerged enemy, capable of appearing without warning and then vanishing, instilled widespread fear and paranoia among sailors and civilians alike. The sinking of the RMS Lusitania in 1915, a passenger liner attacked by a German U-boat, resulted in the loss of nearly 1,200 lives, including many Americans, and served as a stark, horrifying demonstration of the submarine's indiscriminate power. This act, though controversial and contributing to America's eventual entry into the war, underscored the ethical abyss that Leonardo had glimpsed centuries before. The rules of engagement, designed for surface combat, crumbled under the weight of this invisible threat, forcing nations to develop new strategies, such as the convoy system, to protect vital supply lines. The submarine had irrevocably changed naval warfare, making the vast ocean a place of unseen danger. 2 decades later, World War II witnessed the submarine reach unprecedented levels of technological sophistication and operational scale. German U-boats, refined and produced in massive numbers, once again waged a relentless campaign against Allied shipping in the Battle of the Atlantic. These newer submarines were faster, could dive deeper, and carried more lethal torpedoes, often operating in coordinated wolf-pack tactics that overwhelmed convoy defenses. Simultaneously, the United States Navy's submarine fleet mounted a highly successful campaign in the Pacific, effectively crippling Japan's merchant marine and contributing significantly to the Allied victory. The strategic importance of submarines grew exponentially, becoming not just tactical weapons but instruments of economic warfare, capable of starving an enemy nation of vital resources. The human element within these steel beasts was pushed to its absolute limits. Submarine crews endured cramped, claustrophobic conditions, the constant threat of depth charges, and the psychological burden of long patrols in silence, punctuated by moments of intense, life-or-death combat. The air inside their vessels grew stale, recycled through rudimentary scrubbers, and the constant hum of machinery filled their days. Their existence was one of heightened senses, listening for distant propeller noises, sensing the subtle shifts in water pressure and relying utterly on their fragile machine to sustain them in an alien environment. The courage and resilience of these submariners, on all sides, became legendary, a testament to humanity's capacity to adapt to the most extreme conditions when driven by the imperatives of war. Technological innovations during this period included improved sonar and radar for detection, both of submarines and by submarines, advancements in torpedo guidance, and the introduction of the snorkel, allowing diesel boats to run their engines underwater for longer periods. While these developments enhanced the submarine's lethality, they also spurred the development of more effective anti-submarine warfare (ASW) tactics and technologies, creating a constant, deadly cat-and-mouse game beneath the waves. The deep oceans, once a protective shroud for the silent hunter, became a contested battlefield, riddled with unseen dangers for both hunter and hunted. As the smoke of global conflict cleared, the submarine emerged as an undisputed and indispensable component of modern navies. Its stealth, range, and destructive power had fundamentally reshaped naval strategy, forcing every maritime nation to reconsider its defenses and offensive capabilities. The ethical concerns that had once prompted Leonardo to conceal his design seemed to have been overwhelmed by the brutal necessities of total war. The initial reluctance to embrace such a cowardly weapon faded as its undeniable effectiveness proved its worth in the grim calculus of victory and defeat. The human impulse to exploit every technological advantage, regardless of its moral implications, had prevailed. The story of the submarine in the World Wars is a stark, powerful confirmation of Leonardo's ancient apprehension. His fear that humanity would misuse such a profound invention, turning the serene depths into a theater of unseen destruction, was chillingly realized. Yet, from the ashes of conflict, new frontiers of submarine technology would arise, pushing the boundaries of endurance, speed, and power far beyond anything imagined even during these great wars. Our journey now continues into the post-war era, where the atom would further transform the submarine, leading it into a new and even more terrifying age. The cessation of the world wars did not bring an end to the relentless march of submarine evolution. Rather, it ushered in an era of even more profound transformation, driven by the most revolutionary and terrifying power source known to humankind, nuclear energy. The splitting of the atom, an act of scientific genius born from the crucible of war, provided the submarine with an almost limitless endurance, freeing it from the constraints of atmospheric oxygen and frequent refueling. This technological leap, achieved in the mid-20th century, profoundly altered naval strategy, transforming the submarine into the ultimate stealth weapon, capable of global reach and unimaginable destructive potential. Leonardo's silent hunter was no longer merely stalking merchant ships. It was now a harbinger of global annihilation, a ghost in the deep ocean capable of holding the world hostage. The conceptual breakthrough arrived in the late 1940s and early 1950s, primarily driven by the United States Navy and the visionary leadership of Admiral Hyman G. Rickover. The challenge was immense: how to safely and efficiently miniaturize a nuclear reactor and integrate it into a submarine hull, providing power for propulsion and all onboard systems without the need for air. The successful launch of the USS Nautilus in 1954 marked a seismic shift in naval history. This was the world's first operational nuclear-powered submarine, a true marvel of engineering that shattered all previous limitations. The Nautilus could remain submerged for months, limited only by the endurance of its crew and supplies, rather than fuel or air. It could travel at unprecedented speeds and distances, including famously completing the first submerged transit of the North Pole. The advent of nuclear power transformed the very role and operational doctrine of submarines. No longer were they merely tactical weapons for coastal defense or commerce raiding. They became strategic instruments of deterrence. The development of submarine-launched ballistic missiles, SLBMs, capable of carrying nuclear warheads, elevated the submarine to the status of a primary deterrent force. These boomers, as they were sometimes called, could patrol the vast, unfathomable depths of the world's oceans, their exact locations unknown to any adversary, forming an undetectable second strike capability that ensured mutual destruction in the event of nuclear war. This profound shift from conventional warfare to the chilling balance of nuclear terror firmly placed the submarine at the very heart of Cold War strategy. The design and construction of nuclear submarines presented immense engineering challenges and pushed the boundaries of material science. Hulls had to be stronger, capable of withstanding extreme pressures at greater depths to maximize concealment. Complex life support systems became critical, recycling air, desalinating water, and managing waste for months-long patrols. Sonar technology became incredibly sophisticated, evolving from simple pinging devices to passive listening arrays capable of detecting the faintest sounds from thousands of miles away, transforming the undersea environment into a silent, acoustic battlefield. Stealth became the paramount design principle, with efforts to minimize noise signatures from propulsion, machinery, and even the crew themselves. The internal world of a nuclear submarine became a marvel of self-sustaining human existence within a hostile environment, a testament to relentless technological pursuit. The psychological toll on the crews of these silent behemoths was immense. Months spent in cramped, windowless environments, cut off from the sun and the surface world, performing critical, high-stakes missions, demanded extraordinary mental resilience. The pressure of potentially being the first to launch a retaliatory nuclear strike, or the last line of defense, weighed heavily on their shoulders. Yet, they operated with precision and dedication, maintaining the fragile balance of power that defined the nuclear age. Their lives were a testament to the quiet heroism demanded by the unseen battle beneath the waves, a world where silence was survival and every sound a potential threat. The ethical implications of these nuclear giants were staggering. Leonardo's concern about a weapon of assassination at the bottom of the seas had morphed into a global sword of Damocles, held aloft by the silent, omnipresent threat of nuclear submarines. The moral weight of such power, capable of destroying cities and ending civilizations, was a burden shared by the few nations possessing these vessels. Debates raged, and continue to rage, about the necessity of such overwhelming destructive capability and the inherent risks of accidental launch or technical malfunction. The very act of concealing these ultimate weapons, their movements unknown even to their own allies, amplified their psychological impact and the profound responsibility they carried. The nuclear submarine represents the pinnacle of human ingenuity applied to the undersea realm, fulfilling the core promise of Leonardo's initial vision: unprecedented endurance and stealth. Yet, it also stands as the most chilling manifestation of his ethical fears, a stark reminder that the greater the power of invention, the heavier the moral burden of its use. The silent depths, once merely a barrier to human exploration, had become the ultimate strategic hideaway, housing the very means of global catastrophe. Our journey now shifts to the contemporary era, exploring the modern submarine's continued evolution beyond its Cold War role and its enduring relevance in a rapidly changing world. As the chilling intensity of the Cold War began to recede, the submarine, far from becoming obsolete, continued its silent, relentless evolution, pushing the boundaries of engineering, stealth, and operational versatility. The nuclear deterrent remained a cornerstone of global security, but the capabilities developed during that tense era began to find new applications, transforming the submarine from solely a weapon of mass destruction into a sophisticated, multi-role platform for intelligence, research, and even exploration. The spirit of pure scientific inquiry, which had so profoundly animated Leonardo da Vinci, started to find its echo in the silent depths, even as the shadow of his ethical concerns persisted. The most significant advancements in modern submarine design have centered on unprecedented levels of stealth and quieting. The Cold War's acoustic battlefield forced engineers to wage a relentless war on noise, transforming submarines from detectable machines into whispers in the ocean's vast acoustic landscape. This involved a meticulous combination of technologies: anechoic tiles on the hull to absorb sonar pings, advanced rafted machinery that isolates noise-producing equipment from the hull, and revolutionary pumpjet propulsors that replace traditional noisy propellers with shrouded, quieter systems. Furthermore, techniques like magnetic silencing reduce the vessel's magnetic signature, making it harder to detect by magnetic anomaly detectors, MAD. The goal is absolute invisibility, rendering the submarine an almost spectral presence in the underwater domain, a testament to decades of acoustic engineering. Concurrent with stealth advancements, the internal world of the submarine has been revolutionized by automation and artificial intelligence. While human ingenuity remains paramount, computer systems now manage an ever-increasing array of complex functions, from reactor control and navigation to combat system management and data analysis. This increased automation has allowed for smaller crew sizes, improving habitability in cramped conditions and reducing logistical burdens. Advanced sensor suites have become incredibly sophisticated, including massive, multi-array sonar systems capable of listening across vast distances, non-acoustic sensors that detect subtle environmental changes caused by other vessels, and highly secure communication systems, ranging from extremely low frequency, ELF, for deep water to satellite links when near the surface. The modern submarine is a floating supercomputer processing immense volumes of data to perceive and interpret its unseen surroundings. Beyond their primary strategic role in nuclear deterrence, modern submarines have diversified into a surprising array of non-traditional missions. They are indispensable platforms for intelligence gathering, covertly monitoring foreign naval activities, tapping undersea communication cables, and performing reconnaissance in sensitive areas. Their ability to remain undetected makes them ideal for special operations, silently inserting and extracting elite military personnel behind enemy lines. Furthermore, the lessons learned from military submarines have spawned a vibrant field of oceanographic research and exploration. Specialized research submersibles, like the iconic Alvin or modern Triton models, are designed for deep-sea exploration, allowing scientists to study marine biology, underwater geology, and the impacts of climate change at depths previously inaccessible. These scientific vessels, unburdened by weaponry, embody the pure spirit of exploration that animated Leonardo's own boundless curiosity about the natural world. The realm of commercial applications for advanced submersibles, though smaller, is also growing, particularly in fields like undersea mining, oil and gas exploration, and the inspection and laying of critical subsea cables. Small, private submersibles are even venturing into luxury tourism, offering a privileged few a glimpse into the mysterious beauty of the deep ocean. Furthermore, submarines play a vital role in disaster response and rescue operations, capable of locating sunken vessels and assisting in the recovery of personnel or sensitive equipment from the seafloor. This expanding spectrum of roles highlights a gradual shift, acknowledging that the unique capabilities of submersibles can serve purposes far beyond the destructive applications that so troubled their earliest conceptualizer. Despite the advancements in automation, the human element remains central to the operation of modern submarines, imposing unique psychological and physical demands on their crews. Submariners must possess not only exceptional technical expertise, but also profound mental fortitude to endure extended periods of isolation, confinement, and constant vigilance. The reliance on artificial light, recycled air, and simulated environments creates a unique microculture of camaraderie and shared resilience. Their world is one of hushed whispers and precise movements, where every action is critical and the safety of all depends on the discipline and competence of each individual. It is a demanding existence, attracting a specific kind of dedication and pushing the boundaries of human adaptation to extreme conditions. As we look upon these titans of the deep, embodying the pinnacle of modern engineering. The echoes of Leonardo's ethical concerns resonate with renewed complexity. While nuclear deterrence remains a chilling reality, the diversification of roles means the submarine's purpose is no longer singularly destructive. Yet, the inherent secrecy and power of these vessels still demand profound ethical consideration, especially concerning surveillance, privacy, and the potential for dual-use technologies. The very silence that makes them effective for research also makes them ideal for covert operations that might challenge international norms. Leonardo's prescient fear of humanity's misuse of his invention continues to challenge our collective conscience, reminding us that with great technological power comes perpetual moral responsibility. The modern submarine, therefore, stands as a testament to humanity's unyielding drive to explore and master its environment, pushing the boundaries of what is possible beneath the waves. From Leonardo's silent sketch to these sophisticated vessels, the journey has been long and fraught with both triumph and ethical quandaries. The depths of the ocean, once impenetrable, now yield to human ingenuity, yet they retain their mystery, promising new discoveries and new dilemmas in the years to come. Our final chapter will gaze into the future, pondering the next evolutionary leaps for the submarine and the enduring legacy of the man who first dared to dream of its silent presence. As we gaze across the shimmering surface of the present, towards the distant horizon of what is yet to be, the submarine, ever the silent pioneer, continues its relentless evolution. The engineers and dreamers of today and tomorrow are pushing the boundaries established by centuries of ingenuity, conceptualizing vessels that transcend our current understanding, blurring the lines between science fiction and impending reality. From the deepest ocean trenches to the liquid moons of distant planets, the principles first intuited by Leonardo da Vinci are being reinterpreted, propelling the submersible into realms he could scarcely have imagined, yet always shadowed by the profound ethical questions he first dared to ask. One of the most transformative shifts on the horizon is the increasing prominence of autonomous underwater vehicles, UUVs, or unmanned submarines. These silent, tireless robots, ranging from compact sensors to large, long-endurance platforms, offer revolutionary advantages. Without the need for human crews, UUVs can embark on missions of unprecedented duration and venture into environments too hazardous for human-occupied vessels. They can dive to extreme depths, explore hydrothermal vents, map vast stretches of the ocean floor with forensic detail, or loiter silently for months on intelligence-gathering missions. Their potential applications span from environmental monitoring and marine archaeology to highly covert military reconnaissance and mine countermeasures, often operating in swarms, coordinating their efforts with advanced artificial intelligence. The rise of autonomous submersibles, however, resurrects and amplifies Leonardo's fundamental ethical dilemma. If a machine can operate independently, making critical decisions without immediate human oversight, what are the implications for accountability? The prospect of fully autonomous, killer robots operating in the ocean's depths, capable of identifying and engaging targets without human intervention, raises chilling questions about unintended consequences, escalation, and the very nature of conflict. The dream of the silent, unseen hunter could evolve into a nightmare of unpredictable, unfeeling machines, echoing Leonardo's fear of humanity's evil nature, magnified by unconstrained technology. Stopwatch equals 0.25s. Beyond autonomy, the future promises radical advancements in propulsion and energy systems. While nuclear power has revolutionized endurance, researchers are exploring even more exotic concepts. Superconducting propulsion, potentially utilizing magnetohydrodynamics, MHD, drives, could eliminate moving parts entirely, allowing submarines to glide through the water with almost no discernible noise, achieving an unprecedented level of stealth. Breakthroughs in advanced battery technologies, e.g., solid-state batteries, and highly efficient fuel cells could offer non-nuclear submarines significantly extended submerged endurance, reducing their reliance on fossil fuels and providing cleaner, quieter operation. These advancements could enable submarines to reach the crushing pressures of the deepest ocean trenches, opening up entirely new frontiers for exploration and scientific discovery, bridging the gap between Earth's deepest points and the vacuum of space. The materials and manufacturing techniques of the future will also redefine submarine construction. Additive manufacturing, 3D printing, could allow for the creation of complex, optimized hull structures and internal components with unprecedented precision and reduced waste. New composite materials, perhaps bio-inspired by the resilience of deep-sea creatures, could lead to lighter, stronger, and more flexible hulls, capable of withstanding extreme pressures while minimizing acoustic and magnetic signatures. The concept of self-healing materials, capable of autonomously repairing minor hull breaches or structural damage, might even emerge, greatly enhancing safety and operational longevity. These innovations promise submarines that are not only more capable, but also more adaptable and resilient to the challenges of the deep. Stopwatch equals 0.25s. For the smaller, specialized contingent of crewed submarines, the human-machine interface will continue to evolve profoundly. Advanced augmented reality displays, intuitive tactile controls, and perhaps even rudimentary brain-computer interfaces could create an even deeper symbiosis between the submariner and their vessel. The psychological demands of deep confinement will remain, but future designs might incorporate adaptive living spaces, virtual environments, and advanced psychological support systems to mitigate the profound isolation of months beneath the waves. This continuous dance between human endurance and technological augmentation will define the experience of the future submariner. Beyond traditional military or scientific roles, future concepts paint a picture of even more ambitious ventures. Could large-scale undersea habitats or even permanent cities eventually the ocean floor, serving as scientific outposts, resource extraction hubs, or even refuges? The idea of undersea mining for precious minerals from hydrothermal vents might transition from concept to reality, leading to an entirely new industry operating in the deep. And in the grandest leap of all, the principles honed in Earth's oceans are being considered for interplanetary submersibles, designed to explore the liquid oceans beneath the icy crusts of moons like Europa or the methane seas of Titan. The submarine, born of earthly curiosity, could become humanity's key to unlocking the secrets of extraterrestrial oceans. In this boundless future, the shadow of Leonardo da Vinci remains long and profound. His original vision of a vessel that could operate unseen, with remarkable endurance, has been realized beyond his wildest dreams. The quiet pursuit of knowledge, the meticulous understanding of water and air, the blending of art and science, these core tenets of his genius echo in every advanced design. Yet, his ethical caution, born from the fear of humanity's evil nature, reverberates with even greater urgency in an age where autonomous systems wield immense power and destructive potential. The ultimate challenge for future innovators, therefore, remains not merely what can be built, but how it will be used, and whether humanity can truly mature enough to wield its creations with the wisdom and foresight that Leonardo himself displayed. The submarine's journey, from a whisper in a Renaissance notebook to the silent titans of the deep and beyond, is a microcosm of human ambition itself. It is a testament to our insatiable curiosity, our boundless ingenuity, and our persistent desire to conquer every frontier. But it is also a powerful, ongoing narrative of our profound ethical struggle, a reminder that every magnificent creation casts a shadow of potential misuse. The silent depths, once a mere physical barrier, have become a mirror reflecting our deepest fears and our grandest aspirations. And in that reflection, the genius and the moral quandary of Leonardo da Vinci will forever remain etched, a timeless guide for humanity's endless journey into the unknown. Beyond its steel hull and intricate machinery, the submarine has, over centuries, burrowed deep into the collective human imagination, transforming into a potent cultural archetype. It is more than a mere vessel. It is a symbol, a vessel of fear and fascination, of isolation and incredible resilience, echoing the deepest fears and grandest aspirations that lie within the human psyche. From the whispered legends of sea monsters to the chilling realities of unseen warfare, the idea of venturing into and existing within the crushing, silent depths has captivated and terrified humanity long before a single submersible was ever built. This cultural resonance, perhaps more than any technological advancement, ensures the submarine's enduring presence in our consciousness, reflecting a primal human engagement with the vast, unexplored abyss. Long before the first functional submersibles, the allure of the deep was shaped by myth and speculation. The very thought of breathing underwater, of observing the hidden life of the ocean, was relegated to the realm of gods and fantastical beasts. This inherent mystique found its first enduring fictional expression in the imaginative realm of Jules Verne. His seminal novel, 20,000 Leagues Under the Seas, published in 1870, introduced the world to Captain Nemo and his magnificent Nautilus, a vessel of unimaginable sophistication that traversed the global oceans with a blend of scientific exploration and fierce defiance. Verne's Nautilus, born from literary genius rather than engineering blueprints, captured the public imagination, planting the seed of a truly self-sufficient, hidden world beneath the waves. It romanticized the concept, making it a symbol of ultimate freedom from surface constraints, while subtly hinting at the moral ambiguity of such power wielded in isolation. The raw power and psychological drama of the submarine found even richer ground in the crucible of 20th century warfare. Films like Das Boot, 1981, vividly portrayed the claustrophobic terror, grinding tedium, and sudden, horrific violence of life aboard a World War II U-boat. These narratives often focused on the intense camaraderie, the sheer mental and physical endurance, and the profound psychological toll of sustained isolation and the constant threat of unseen death. Cold War thrillers, such as The Hunt for Red October, 1984, further cemented the submarine's place in popular culture as the ultimate instrument of stealth and strategic espionage. These stories, whether depicting heroic struggles or the grim realities of conflict, tapped into universal human anxieties about the unseen enemy, the hidden threat, and the fragility of life when suspended between the crushing depths below and the indifferent waves above. The submarine became a metaphor for the hidden battles fought in the shadows of geopolitical tension. The psychological demands on those who crew these steel giants are unlike almost any other profession. Submariners willingly embrace a world devoid of natural light, fresh air, and open spaces, where every surface is cold steel and every sound is amplified. They learn to live in a state of hyper-awareness, constantly monitoring the subtle hums of their own machinery and straining to detect the faintest sonic signatures of others. Claustrophobia must be conquered, or at least managed, and the profound isolation from the surface world fosters an almost familial bond among the crew. The constant awareness of the immense pressure outside the hull, the knowledge that a single structural failure means instant obliteration, creates a unique mental landscape of resilience and disciplined vigilance. This existence cultivates a specific kind of human, one forged in the crucible of absolute reliance on technology and the unshakable trust in their shipmates. The submarine also serves as a powerful symbol of humanity's relentless drive to conquer the last great frontier on Earth, the deep ocean. For millennia, the abyssal plains and ocean trenches remained utterly alien, untouched by human presence. The submarine represents the audacious ambition to penetrate this alien realm, to observe its mysteries, and to exert human will upon its formidable forces. It is a journey into an environment as hostile and unforgiving as deep space, demanding similar levels of technological ingenuity and human bravery. In this sense, the submarine embodies humanity's enduring quest for knowledge, its primal urge to explore the unknown, and its capacity to adapt and thrive in the most extreme environments imaginable. It is a monument to our collective desire to push beyond limits, to turn the impossible into the achievable. Stopwatch equals 0.25s. The archetype of the submarine oscillates between the hidden threat and the silent guardian. It is the terrifying, unseen predator, capable of striking without warning and vanishing into the vastness, a confirmation of Leonardo's fears about humanity's evil nature. Break time equals 0.25s/. Yet, in the modern age, it is also the ultimate deterrent, the invisible sword of Damocles that ensures peace through the threat of unimaginable retaliation, a guardian of the uneasy global balance. This dual nature, reflecting both our capacity for destruction and our need for security, is deeply embedded in its cultural portrayal. The submarine stands as a stark reminder that the same technology capable of profound harm can also be wielded in the service of stability, albeit a stability maintained by the very terror it can inflict. As we reflect on this cultural absorption, we must ask, did Leonardo's ethical concerns fade as the idea of the submarine became normalized in popular culture? Perhaps the very act of bringing the concept from secret notebooks into the public consciousness, through literature and then through technological reality, diminished the immediate shock of its potential misuse. The initial moral repugnance expressed by figures like Napoleon, who saw it as cowardly, eventually yielded to strategic necessity. The pervasive imagery of the submarine, from adventure tales to grim war dramas, has perhaps desensitized us to the profound ethical questions it continues to pose. Yet, Leonardo's warning remains a haunting undercurrent, a quiet philosophical challenge that continues to resonate beneath the surface of our technologically advanced world. The submarine, in its cultural manifestation, continues to evolve, reflecting our changing relationship with technology, conflict, and the environment. It is a powerful symbol of human will pushing against the boundaries of nature, a testament to our relentless ingenuity, but also a constant reminder of the profound responsibilities that accompany such power. Its enduring presence in our collective imagination ensures that the discussions about its purpose, its potential, and its ethical weight will continue for as long as humanity dares to dream of exploring the unseen depths. Our journey next moves to the very process of its creation, delving into the extraordinary human endeavors required to bring these silent leviathans to life. From the solitary musings of Leonardo da Vinci, sketching in candlelit silence, to the colossal, thrumming shipyards of the modern world, the journey of the submarine is fundamentally a narrative of extraordinary human endeavor. To transform a theoretical concept into a tangible, operational leviathan of the deep requires a monumental convergence of intellect, precision, and sheer physical labor, a scale of collaborative effort that transcends any individual genius. The forging of these silent, pressure-defying vessels is a testament to humanity's capacity for meticulous planning, advanced engineering, and unwavering dedication, shrouded in a veil of secrecy that underscores their immense strategic value. Every weld, every wire, every carefully machined part contributes to a singular, complex ecosystem designed to sustain life and project power in an environment fundamentally hostile to human existence. The design phase of a modern submarine is an intellectual Everest, a symphony of thousands of specialized engineers and scientists working in concert. Unlike Leonardo, who juggled roles as artist, anatomist, and engineer, today's submarine design is a highly compartmentalized, yet deeply integrated, process. Naval architects meticulously shape the hull for optimal hydrodynamics and acoustic stealth, while structural engineers calculate the precise thicknesses and reinforcements needed to withstand immense crushing pressures. Propulsion engineers develop systems of unparalleled efficiency and quietness, and specialists in life support devise closed-loop environments that can sustain crews for months without contact with the outside world. Combat systems engineers integrate complex sonar arrays, navigation systems, and advanced weaponry into a cohesive, lethal whole. This intricate dance of disciplines, often orchestrated through sophisticated computer-aided design, CAD, and simulation software, is like solving a three-dimensional puzzle of unimaginable complexity, where every cubic inch must serve multiple critical functions. Once the digital blueprints are perfected, the arduous process of material selection and fabrication begins, a realm where metallurgy meets artistry. Submarine hulls are typically constructed from specialized high-strength steels and advanced alloys, materials chosen for their exceptional resistance to pressure, corrosion, and fatigue. These massive steel plates, often many inches thick, are precision-cut, meticulously bent, and then painstakingly welded together in vast sections. The quality of these welds is paramount. Any tiny flaw could prove catastrophic under the immense pressures of the deep. Welders undergo years of specialized training, becoming artisans of steel, their work scrutinized by advanced inspection techniques like X-rays and ultrasound. The interior components, the thousands of miles of cabling, the intricate piping systems, the delicate electronics, are installed with a level of precision reminiscent of watchmaking, but on an oceanic scale. The shipyard itself is a modern cathedral of industry, a sprawling testament to human ambition. Within colossal dry docks and cavernous assembly halls, entire sections of the submarine are fabricated concurrently before being meticulously joined together. Towering gantry cranes lift multi-ton modules with graceful precision, placing them into their designated positions with tolerances measured in mere millimeters. The air inside these facilities vibrates with the hum of machinery, the rhythmic clang of hammers, and the focused murmurs of thousands of skilled craftspeople, welders, electricians, pipe fitters, machinists, nuclear technicians, software engineers. Each individual plays a vital role in bringing the complex design to life, a testament to a collective dedication stretching over many years, as a single submarine can take close to a decade to construct from initial concept to sea trials. Once the hull is sealed and internal systems installed, the submarine embarks on a series of rigorous testing and trials, pushing the vessel and its crew to their absolute limits. Dockside trials test all systems above water, ensuring electrical, mechanical, and combat systems function as designed. Then come the initial dives, cautiously venturing into shallow waters to verify buoyancy control and trim. The ultimate test is the deep dive, where the submarine descends incrementally to its designated maximum operating depth, the crew listening intently for any ominous creaks or groans from the hull as immense pressure squeezes the vessel. Each system, from propulsion to life support to weaponry, undergoes exhaustive testing, simulating real-world conditions and identifying any potential vulnerabilities. These trials are inherently risky, a stark reminder of the unforgiving environment for which the submarine is built, demanding unwavering courage and technical mastery from the test crews. Throughout this entire monumental process, the element of secrecy is paramount, a pervasive shroud over every stage of the submarine's creation. From the earliest design sketches to the final sea trials, information is tightly controlled, personnel are rigorously vetted with high-level security clearances, and facilities are protected by layers of physical and digital security. This reflects the profound strategic importance of the submarine as a military asset, its effectiveness often directly proportional to its ability to remain unseen and its capabilities unknown to potential adversaries. This modern-day concealment of knowledge, driven by national security, ironically mirrors Leonardo's own decision to hide his submarine designed centuries ago, albeit for different, yet equally weighty, ethical considerations. The silence and hidden nature of the submarine extend beyond its operation, reaching into the very heart of its birth. The forging of these leviathans stands as a towering achievement of human collaboration and engineering. It is a testament to what is possible when human intellect, aided by advanced tools, tackles the most daunting challenges. The silent steel giants that glide through the deep are not merely machines. They are the distillation of countless human hours, an intricate dance of scientific theory, skilled craftsmanship, and unwavering dedication. They embody a unique blend of collective genius and individual mastery, echoing the very spirit of invention that first sparked in Leonardo's mind. Yet, as with all powerful creations, this monumental effort carries a profound moral weight, a silent question about the ultimate purpose of such immense capability. As we conclude this exploration of their construction, we recognize that these incredible machines, born of such painstaking effort and immense resources, carry within them the full spectrum of humanity's aspirations and anxieties. They are monuments to both our greatest triumphs and our most persistent ethical dilemmas. Our final chapter will now bring together these threads, reflecting on the enduring legacy of the submarine and the timeless questions it continues to pose to the human spirit. Our journey through the silent, unseen world of the submarine concludes, yet its story, like the endless currents of the ocean, continues to flow through the heart of human history. We began with a solitary genius, Leonardo da Vinci, whose mind dared to sketch a vessel capable of navigating the unseen depths, a vision born of both boundless curiosity and chilling apprehension. We have witnessed its slow, arduous ascent from theoretical dream to crude experiment, from rudimentary craft to the industrial age's formidable steel giants, and finally, to the nuclear titans that redefined global power. This epic narrative of the submarine is more than a chronicle of technological progress. It is a profound reflection of humanity itself, a mirror held up to our relentless ambition, our capacity for both creation and destruction, and the enduring ethical dilemmas that accompany every significant leap of innovation. The submarine, in its very essence, serves as a powerful mirror to human nature. It embodies our insatiable drive to explore every frontier, to conquer every element, to bend the natural world to our will. Its development showcases our unparalleled ingenuity, our ability to understand complex physical laws and harness them to achieve what was once deemed impossible. The meticulous design, the precision engineering, the immense collaborative effort required to forge these steel leviathans, all speak to the zenith of human scientific and industrial achievement. Yet, simultaneously, the submarine starkly reveals our darker impulses. Our propensity for conflict, our relentless pursuit of strategic advantage, and our willingness to employ even the most terrifying instruments of war. It is a machine of profound contradictions, a testament to both our grandest aspirations and our most unsettling capacities. Leonardo's ethical foresight, dismissed as an overreaction by some in his time, now resonates with chilling clarity across the centuries. His fear of the evil nature of men and their potential to abuse his invention was not a flaw in his genius, but a testament to his profound understanding of humanity's shadows. His choice to withhold the submarine design, to protect it from widespread dissemination due to its destructive potential, stands as a unique and largely unmatched moral stance in the history of invention. He alone bore the burden of such knowledge, choosing personal restraint over the glory of unleashing a revolutionary technology. This act forces us to confront a fundamental question: when does the pursuit of knowledge necessitate self-censorship, and what responsibilities do innovators bear for the ultimate application of their creations? The historical trajectory of the submarine, from its initial rejection by Napoleon as cowardly to its eventual embrace as a cornerstone of naval power, underscores how easily ethical concerns can be subsumed by strategic necessity and the relentless march of technological advancement. The submarine compels us to contemplate the unseen depths, both literal and metaphorical. The vast, largely unexplored abysses of our oceans continue to hold mysteries that even the most advanced submersibles have only begun to probe. They are a reminder of the immense unknown that still surrounds us, a final terrestrial frontier beckoning with the promise of undiscovered life forms, geological wonders, and perhaps answers to fundamental questions about our planet's past and future. Metaphorically, the submarine's silent, hidden existence reflects the complex, often unseen depths of human consciousness and morality. It forces us to peer into the silent chambers of our own conscience, to grapple with the moral implications of our choices, and to acknowledge the responsibility that accompanies the power we wield through our creations. The very silence of the deep becomes a profound echo, amplifying the internal debates about purpose and consequence. Yet, despite the inherent dangers and persistent ethical quandaries, the human spirit's enduring quest to explore, to innovate, and to adapt remains unyielding. The submariners, who bravely choose to live and work in these steel cocoons, embody this resilience. Their ability to master complex machinery, to endure prolonged isolation, and to operate with precision under immense pressure is a testament to humanity's capacity to thrive in alien environments. They are the modern-day explorers, pushing the boundaries of human endurance and technical mastery, extending our reach into the Earth's last great frontier. Their unique bond forged in shared challenge, their quiet heroism, speaks to the strength and adaptability of the human spirit when confronted with the unknown. The story of the submarine, from its whisper in Leonardo's secret notebooks to its silent dominion over the world's oceans, is a profound and continuous dialogue between aspiration and consequence. It serves as a powerful, enduring reminder that every magnificent creation, every technological breakthrough, carries within it a shadow of potential misuse. The responsibility to navigate this shadow, to temper our boundless ingenuity with profound wisdom, rests firmly on humanity's shoulders. As these silent titans continue to ply the depths, whether for defense, discovery, or future roles yet unimagined, the genius and the moral quandary of Leonardo da Vinci will forever remain etched upon their hulls, a timeless guide for humanity's endless journey into the unknown depths, both physical and moral. As the echoes of our story fade, we hope this journey beneath the waves has offered not just a glimpse into history, but a profound reflection on the enduring spirit of human ingenuity. May the tale of Leonardo's vision and the subsequent evolution of the submarine inspire continued curiosity about our world and the powerful choices we make within it. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the marvels and mysteries of the silent world. Until our next exploration, may your own curiosity guide you.